John, we know that you can't speak specifics about Anthony Swarzak, but in general, you guys made it a point to come down here, bolster that bullpen. Assuming that you do add a relief pitcher, why was it so important with the three guys you already had to get that fourth?
Yeah, I think Sandy made it clear right from the beginning of the offseason that we wanted to turn what we thought was a strength into something even stronger, and that's that back of the bullpen with Familia, Ramos, and Blevins. We wanted to add a fourth guy with a veteran presence who can pitch at the back end. And so that was a goal of ours. You know, as you saw, we hired Mickey Callaway, we brought in Dave Island. We have the starting pitching. We feel like that's going to be what gets us to where we want to go. And, you know, so bullpen, another piece, was what we wanted to acquire.
Are you content with just one more? Would there be room for another one, or is it now attention on the offense?
Yeah, I think we're paying attention to the offense. We may go back there. We'll see how the rest of the offseason progresses. We could still make some moves and, you know, add and subtract. But I think for now we'll probably turn our attention more to offense/defense.
So interested in an update on the second base market and situation. Obviously, you guys had identified that position as a priority going in, but now that you've had the chance to have conversations with the teams and the agents, are you still really targeting that position as a way to allocate a lot of your resources, or just in terms of adding to your offense? Has this week opened your guys' mind up to first base, third base, anything else other than what you expected going in, which seemed very second base centric? Yeah,
second base has still stayed front and center, but as these meetings progress, and generally this is how it works, first 2 days, a lot of shadow boxing. Day 3, there's a lot more engagement, and that's kind of what's happening. You want to be, you know, ready to listen on all different fronts. So we've had some interesting conversations about other positions, but all through that, second base has remained focused.
All right, so take that a step further. Sometimes trade possibilities come in late. We've seen a couple trades already. Is there a trade, or is there a way that you could fill multiple needs with one trade, or is there, you know, is that one of those things that maybe still takes a little bit of time?
No, you know, we've had some interesting proposals. Nothing, obviously, that was good enough for us to jump on yet. But there have been some talks about addressing a couple of different areas at once. So, you know, guys are up in the room. I'll go back up there as soon as we're done here and flesh them out a little bit further.
John, one of the things that you've said, Sandy has said about the way that this front office is evolving is that in the past, a heavy focus was on the offensive side and maybe not enough focus on the defensive side of players' games. But this year, that was going to change a little bit. You were going to focus a little more on that. As you look at potential trades, signings, what would you say is the difference in terms of how you're evaluating those players, including that defensive side?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say there's a little more of an emphasis this year on some youth and versatility and defense. Ultimately, we got to make the best deal we can make, and but those three things are top of mind as we're talking to other teams.
You willing to speak specifically to Jay Bruce in terms of what the possibilities are of a reunion there? I mean, our understanding is there's been contact, but how does that have any momentum?
You know, as I said, really we've been focused on second base, and that's that bat is maybe a little bit down the road. So Jay, yeah, we had contact, but there's nothing hot on that right now.
Has anything at these winter meetings surprised you about any of the markets that we're discussing here?
You know, when we came in, it was a continuation of kind of a slow. Everybody talked about how slow the free agent market had been developing, and the first day in here kind of felt that way. Started to shake loose a little bit. So the fact that, you know, it was that slow all the way through, especially since the winter meetings are a week later this year, I think surprised some people. I tend to think part of it was there was a large supply of relievers and a large number of teams interested, so both sides were constantly looking at the other options they had. But at some point, you got to settle down and start making deals, and I think we started to see that late, you know, yesterday and into today.
How about the price tag on the relievers? Like, you're seeing some 2-year deals at $9–10 million per year. When you look at it over like 3 years ago, it's almost increased like 150%. Are you a little bit surprised at where that dollar amount is for these guys?
It seems that a lot of the, you know, the big money, big contracts have gone away, and teams have peeled back and said, you know what, we're more interested in committing, you know, even though it's going to be a little more, it's still not, you know, game-changing money that's going to impact you in, you know, over the long haul. So I think that's part of the strategy here, is you've seen teams shy away from maybe those mega contracts and back into ones that might seem pricey, but they're still, you're talking, $15 to $20 million total deals.
Right. John, we were in Sandy Alderson, I guess the Mets suite, about an hour ago, and one of the things that was interesting, he wasn't, again, speaking specifically about Swarzak because he can't, but he was talking about how you guys have gone about evaluating relievers and things that you're looking for, and he mentioned that a history with Mickey Callaway was something that was at least part of the equation. Is that specific to this manager at this time? And is it because of something that you guys feel Mickey Callaway can bring, or do you want to have someone that has a history with Callaway on a new team and when he's trying to get used to a new roster?
I think in general, when you're playing the free agent market, the more information you have about the player you're going to sign, the better. You can dig, you can have scouts go ask questions, but if you lived with the guy and had him on your team, that's obviously real data that you're not going to get anywhere else. So, a pitching coach who had a pitcher, those guys, he has in-depth knowledge of the person, the player, the tools. So, that's part of it. The other thing, Mickey has been a big part of this week. He's in the room with us going through all the analytics, going through all the scouting reports. He's, rolled up his sleeves and he's right there with us trying to figure out how to put together the best team and the best pitching staff we can.